Hello everyone. So I'm just dropping by to announce that Recovery Talk is taking a quick season break. So season 2, which will be the next season, will resume sometime in August or September this year. And please note that this is a season break and a relatively quick one. This podcast is not going anywhere. Since I started this podcast almost 2 years ago, I've actually not had a single season break. And now I just feel like that time has come for that to be the right thing to do. So that I can take a step back, make some adjustments, re-strategize a bit, and then come back better and stronger. The Let's Recover Substack, aka Recovery Talk in written form, as I often call it, will still be up and going. I have several pre-written posts that I wrote earlier this year that are just there awaiting to be published. And also, paid subscribers to my Substack will get access to a few up-and-coming bonus podcast episodes during this time. So if you are really desperate for podcast episodes, there will be that possibility through my Substack. My Substack is letsrecover.substack.com. And you are free to join as a paid subscriber or as a free subscriber. Anything is welcome. On a bit of a personal note, lately I've had some not so good medical news, and I've noticed that my go-to reaction when I get bad medical news, which unfortunately has been frequently lately, is actually go to work. I'm self-employed and I'm on sole income. I don't really have much of a security net. And that is quite scary when you're someone who's living with a chronic illness that's progressive and that affects your ability to work. It already affects my ability to work quite a bit. And in the future, I don't know to what extent it will. So I think sometimes my reaction is to be like, oh crap, I need to work whilst I still can. I need to secure my future whilst I still can. Not to mention, I really love working. I love what I'm doing so much. I feel very lucky to be able to do my passion. It gives me that sense of purpose, and yeah, I just genuinely feel very happy when I'm doing what feels like my purpose and feels like my passion, right? So please don't get me wrong. I love doing what I'm doing, but I also need to be careful with balancing that line between passion and burnout. My work is very intense. So there is very often a feeling of overwhelm, of guilt, letting people down because I simply cannot get back to everyone who reaches out, or I cannot take on every client who reaches out. I cannot cover every topic request. I've been doing recovery-related stuff for many years now and coaching for a few years too. So I've already learned the importance of having very strong boundaries and how that is essential to actually be able to do this job sustainably long-term and how important it is to stick to them. Because I know that the alternative is I'm going to crash and burn and I won't be able to do anything. So I just want to reiterate that unfortunately I am not able to respond to one-on-one messages on Instagram or on email to people who are not my clients. And in terms of that, I do have a wait list for coaching right now, and that wait list is currently very long. I have closed the wait list, so I can't take on new people on the wait list either. It is not me ignoring anyone. It is not me forgetting about anyone. It is not me not caring about you. It is just me having quite limited capacity to begin with, and the volume of inquiries I get is just not, really sustainable for one person. I will say though that I really take it as a huge compliment when people are trusting me enough to be vulnerable with me, to reach out, to open up. And I also feel very honored that people are, trusting me enough to want me to be part of their recoveries as their coach. I do not take any of those things lightly, and I'm immensely grateful. And as intense as my job is, it does offer me the ability to work from home. And I know that if I didn't have this job, I'm not sure if I would have been able to do most quote unquote normal jobs because my condition is so fluctuating. The good news is that due to, I have quite limited capacity and there has been a lot of volume of inquiries, Let's Recover has recruited another coach who I'm working very closely with, who follows a similar approach to mine in terms of, being informed about extreme hunger, working with the food first approach and that all foods fit, and working with getting people to their set point weight range, etc. Overall, this approach is very popular as it should be. So legit and trained practitioners following this approach that have spaces available are quite hard to come by. So I'm very happy to now have that offering of someone that can offer those services and that don't have months or years of a wait, at least not per today. If you're interested, head to my website, letsrecover.co.uk, and click on coaching. I'm also constantly testing out different ways to help and support most people the most efficiently, right? So I recently had a group coaching program, which was genuinely amazing. It was just so powerful, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful group as well. But I did quickly realize that this is by no means less intense on me than any other forms of work. It was incredibly intense, and essentially I didn't really actually have a day off for 2 months. So as a result, I don't have an immediate group coaching program planned right now, but I might redo the group coaching program in the future. I'm also looking into doing shorter courses, webinars, various things such as ebooks or e-guides, etc., etc. So do keep an eye on my website, letsrecover.co.uk. And yeah, I hope to have more things to offer as well in the future. But now I'm going to try my best to have a few weeks to just focus on me, focus on my health. I will definitely do some work, and I also have a few clients that I work with, but I'm going to try and just relax for a bit. I really look forward to seeing you all on this podcast later this summer. So I'm assuming August or September. You will, if you follow this podcast on Spotify or other places, you will of course get a notification when it's back. But if you don't see any notification, definitely check in. And of course, I'll also announce on Instagram. If you don't follow me already, my Instagram is Amalia Lee, or you can find me at letsrecover.co.uk. But throughout the next few weeks, I will be more available through Substack. That's where I will produce content, because I have content already there that is just kind of scheduled to be produced and published. Thank you so much for your support through this podcast and through any other channel. I really, really appreciate you guys, and I hope you have an amazing summer. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon.